I receive a lot of questions about the Hatteberg's People series, and I thought I'd take you behind the scenes just a little bit to see how I approach some of the stories. Now, I've used the little segment that you're about to see to help students know what to look for when they're out on assignment, and I thought I would share this little moment with you. This story is about an elderly man. Now, at first glance, there isn't much to shoot. Now, understand that television stories must have good video to work with, and this story was a little different. It was just the man and his house. Now, part of this segment is teaching other photojournalists to see instead of look. In video storytelling, we search for those small things that help tell the bigger story of a person's life. For example, I walk into the room, and here is the old gentleman, and it's a cold day outside. It snowed in the past couple of days. Here he is standing by the stove, and he doesn't want to move. He's warming himself by the stove. He's a man of few words. He leads a simple life.
Yeah.
And he thinks that I'm basically going to do an interview with him. He doesn't understand that we have to have a lot of shots put together in order to tell a story. And he doesn't move fast, and he doesn't move often. And he really thinks about what he's going to say before he says it. So you have all of this stuff going against you. It's one man in a room. So what do you do? Well, this is when the photojournalist in you really has to come out. The thing that I do is I start looking around the room. I start looking to see what's in this room that I can help tell the story of this man's life. For example, we look over at the screen on the window. It's a screen that's been there a long time, and as you look out, you can look onto his property. And I'm thinking, you know, if I could do a very slow rack zoom, at least that's one little element of the story I might have. I also notice that on his windows are old yellowing lace curtains. This man also was getting older, like the curtains. He was yellowing with age. And so you can use that as a verbal and visual kickoff point sometimes. There's a plant over by the window. Could I work that into the story? On the wall, a picture of his family, also a picture of his homestead. Now, his wife had died earlier, so she wasn't part of the story at all. There's also a clock hanging on the wall with the seconds of this man's life ticking away. Those are little elements, those are little pieces of video that you can use to help tell a greater story. The problem is many photojournalists don't see these little pieces of video. All they see is just a big room and a guy standing there, and it looks real boring. You have to look past that. You have to start looking at the little tiny elements that are going to help you sell your story. By this time, the man still hasn't moved more than a half inch away from that stove. He's standing there looking at me with his hands clasped behind him. And so I decided, well, that's a good point. We'll just do a little interview there. And I got a couple of little tiny sound bites at that location.
It's home. I wouldn't know how to live anywhere else.
It was getting on to noon, and the old man was getting hungry, and he asked me if he minded if he got a bite to eat. And this particular man is a very precise man. He would, as he walked, he would walk precisely. He would seat himself in a precise manner, and he would eat in a precise manner. And when you ask him a question, he would pause a long time before he answered it.
I think people are putting too much emphasis on money anymore. They need to put it on God.
That's just the way he was. That's the way he lived his life. You see, he lived a measured life in a pace that never varied. So it's important for my story to reflect this man's life and the pace of life that this man lives. As he was sitting in the kitchen eating, I got a couple of sound bites from him. But more important, I noticed that as he was sitting there eating, perhaps the most powerful shot was from the back. Normally we think you want to be around in front of the person all the time. And even more powerful than that was the sound that was being recorded of him chewing his food. And remember, it is the camera that does the writing for you. It is the natural sound that does the writing for you, that helps put a person's life in perspective. And the camera, shooting from behind him in a reverse angle and listening to him eat, tells you a lot about this man's measured life, about his pace of life, and it gives you insight to the man's lifestyle, to the way he lives, and that's important. And he will come full circle. When he dies, he will die on the land he was born on, and that says something about his life, something about his lifestyle, and not many of us have an opportunity to have that happen in our life. This man does.
Quiet. Nobody to bother me.
He warms and waits for nothing in particular in a room of old lace, winter's harshness a fly screen away.
I just like to be out among nature.
Virgil Coleman has always waited in this room. He lives in the house he was born in 89 years ago.
Wouldn't know how to live anywhere else.
Last year, his wife of 55 years, Mary, died, leaving Virgil now alone with his constant cats.
Yeah, just me and the cats anymore.
Virgil lives his days in a measured pace. Change is foreign. Old is familiar. Everything in its place.
I like to live a simple life. People didn't live so fast when I was a child.
In Virgil's life, there has always been the farm.
I like to farm.
There has always been time.
Living too fast for me. I think people are putting too much emphasis on money anymore. They need to put it on God. On memories.
Virgil figures he'll come full circle on this land.
Been telling everybody I was born here and going to be buried here. Yeah, there's been a lot of changes. Nothing's hardly like it used to be.
Now, this little story isn't an award winner, but it does represent a moment in time in the life of one person. For me, they aren't just stories. They are moments captured forever from a time that will never be again. Video storytelling contains the first draft of history with some of the most fascinating people of our time.